All right, good morning, everyone. Happy Thursday. I'm First Alert Meteorologist Courteney Jacobazzi. Our First Alert Weather Day now over for today, and of course the one that was in effect yesterday. And that was due to all of the heavy rain and ultimately the flooding that we were worried about. And we did see a lot of river and creek flooding, a lot of flash flooding in the roadways. So we're going to kind of catch you up on what is still active right now, talk about some really impressive rainfall totals for the city of Atlanta. And we're also going to talk about a First Alert Weather Day on the horizon for Sunday for more rain and storms. So our dry stretch of weather will be very, very brief, unfortunately. Let's talk about this. We did, in fact, set a record yesterday for the record amount of daily rainfall. So February 12th, yesterday, 2024, we picked up 2.58 inches of rain in the city of Atlanta. That broke the daily rainfall record set all the way back in 1900. So we managed to break an over 100-year record yesterday in terms of rainfall for February 12th. So each day comes with their own set of records when it comes to high temperatures, low temperatures, precipitation. We managed to break that precipitation record yesterday. All that rain falling in a very short period of time, leading to the flash flooding. Here are some reports from this morning. I will say some of these could very well have receded just a little bit, but areas that you still want to use caution around just in case the water hasn't completely subsided there, which is very well a good possibility just with how deep a lot of the water was. Piedmont Ave and Miami Circle, this is a spot that floods a lot in Atlanta. It's underneath that bridge on Piedmont. Cedar Mountain Road near Hudson Road, that's in Douglasville. The road was actually washed out there. It is a roadway that goes over a bridge that goes over one of the rivers in that area. So as that river rose, it actually flooded out that roadway. And that is a residential roadway that takes people to and from their homes. So we are following up with them to see exactly how long it's going to take to repair that roadway. But Cedar Mountain Road near Hudson Road, one of the big trouble spots from overnight. We did also learn from up in LJ that a mudslide impacted the right-hand lane of White Path Road at Cherokee Drive. That's near a few of the vineyards in the area that are right along the river there. So really scary to think about. We picked up so much rain that actually caused all that saturation up in the higher elevations in the mountains to allow for rock and mudslides up in LJ. And then MLK near Lyndhurst in Atlanta, that was shut down this morning because of flooding in the roadway. Again, we're working to kind of catch up to see if any of these are still a trouble spot, but you still want to use caution on the roadways. They are still a little damp. And again, some spots got so much flooding. We're talking inches of water in the roadway that it's not necessarily just going to recede. We do still have more than a dozen active flood warnings right now. All those green boxes are flood warnings for rivers and creeks in the area. And they are going to cause problems because, of course, we had all that rain fall, but you know how rivers are. It's not just a pool of water that rises and then falls. A lot of them flow north to south. And so if some of the rain falls north, as it flows south, it saturates areas downstream. And so we are expecting some of these rivers to continue to rise through the day as everything flows from north to south. So these flood warnings will remain active, a lot of them into the evening tonight, if not into tomorrow morning. Let's talk about a couple of them that are a little more troublesome with for them forecast to rise, and they are going to impact some residential areas, some parks, some businesses in the area. So here we're going to start with the Yellow River at Newton County. The current level is 11.11 feet, but it is forecast to rise to about 14 feet by tonight. So that's going to keep it above minor flood stage. And what this is going to do, if the river rises to about 14 feet, which again it is expected to do, Sockwell Road will be under 4 feet of water. It looks like Sockwell Road, when I was looking at it on a map, is kind of a residential road that more than likely takes you to homes and businesses in the area, but that could be under 4 feet of water. That road does run right along the river. And then there also is expected to be flooding in Riverside Estates Travel and Trailer Park. The National Weather Service was also saying that if you do have any kind of campers or trailers within that park, you're probably going to want to go assess that area because as the river rises, some of them in the more low-lying parts of that park could very well have water up to them. So you might want to move them to higher ground if possible. That was just something that the National Weather Service advised, so we want to let you know about it because the Yellow River over in Newton County is going to continue to rise at least a couple more feet through the day today. We also have the Flint River, the current level over in Lovejoy, so this is impacting places like Clayton County, Fayette County, Spalding County at 12.16 feet. This is forecast to go to about 14 feet tonight. So this means essentially when you get to 14 feet, when this river, the Flint River, gets to 14 feet, significant flooding occurs in yards between Upper Riverdale Road and Highway 138. So homes that are near the river will essentially be in your backyard as it continues to rise and go above minor flood stage. The good news is, I will say, just kind of general overview of all of our flood warnings, we have no major flooding. When we were talking Hurricane Helene that came through months ago, we were talking catastrophic and major flood levels in our rivers. None of our rivers are expected to go to major flood stage. We're looking at mainly minor flood stage, maybe some just briefly making it to moderate flood stage. So we aren't expecting this to have any kind of major impact, but if you live near the river, once those rivers go above flood stage, I'm sure you've experienced it before, it is obviously going to be a nuisance for you and cause some problems, especially in your backyards and along some of your streets and parks and stuff like that. So let's talk about the Etowah River. So the Etowah River, this is going to impact parts of Dawson and Cherokee County with a current level of 14.16 feet. This is expected to go below flood stage this afternoon. So this is one of the rivers, because it is further north, that is expected to actually drop through the day as everything flows downstream. But impacts with the current flood stage, we're talking businesses off of Old Ball Ground Highway, Old Nicholson Road and Nicholson Road are also flooded. And again, this is forecast to go below flood stage later this afternoon. So that will start to improve through the day today. But a lot of our rivers, especially if you are south of Atlanta, expect the river levels to go up through the day. That's the reason a lot of those flood warnings are extended. Another river that we are expecting to stay at least at minor flood stage through the day today, the Chattahoochee River, currently at 14.4 feet. So this means flooding in backyards along Coquise Drive, Paces Ferry Drive, Paces Manor, and Farmington Drive. So a lot of the homes along the river, of course, in Fulton County, we do have a lot of homes off the river in places like Moores Mill, Paces Ferry, Paces Manor. So the river level will be high enough where it could start to flood your backyard. We're not talking inundating backyards. We're not talking anything like we saw back again months ago. This isn't going to come up to your front door, but this will cause some issues for your backyard. We also have the Chattahoochee River that's impacting a couple of schools in the area, some of the athletic fields at some of the schools. So, for instance, at Lovett School, it looks like this river flooding level will impact the athletic field at Lovett School. So I'm not sure there's a lot of sports going on right now. Of course, football's kind of coming to an end, did come to an end, at least for the high school level. So hopefully this isn't going to impact after-school activities all that much. But nonetheless, this river, the Chattahoochee River, being in minor flood stage will impact the Lovett School athletic fields. Lastly, let's take you to Sweetwater Creek. Current level at 11 feet. This is impacting Gwinnett County. So this will cause flooding at the Northwood Golf Course. And then one of the bridges for the golf carts that goes over the water, that's also going to be impacted. The golf cart bridge that specifically goes over that creek there. Let's talk about the weekend now, okay? Because yes, we got done with one batch of rain, but more is unfortunately on the way. We will have a dry Friday for Valentine's Day. It'll be cold in the morning. We'll wake up in the 20s to 30s. Highs will be in the 50s for the afternoon. So overall, a really nice winter day. We'll have a lot of sunshine. It'll be a nice Friday. However, Saturday, we will have another warm front start to lift north and a wedge try to build in. So almost the exact setup that we had these last couple of days is going to try to set up again over the weekend. So Saturday is going to be kind of cloudy. It's going to be damp. It's going to be drizzly. We'll have steady rain potentially in the morning. That's that 40% coverage with maybe just kind of spotty, light, pesky showers through the afternoon with temperatures hovering in the upper 40s to low 50s all day. Really not going to be a comfortable Saturday, but Sunday is our first alert weather day. 70% coverage of rain that looks to be mainly in the early morning hours, and we will watch for maybe some severe storms as well. After that front passes, that cold air will start to spill in, but it does look like temperatures will be able to rebound back into the 60s on Sunday. Here's that warm front, and again, that wedge is going to be fighting it, so you'll have this overrunning of warm air underneath that more dense cool air. That's going to give us very kind of dreary, misty, gross, damp, all the wonderful adjectives, right, to describe Saturday with morning showers possible. The afternoon does look drier. The afternoon won't be a washout. It's just going to be a dreary day. And then going into Sunday morning, here comes that cold front. This front does look to be a little stronger maybe. It's all going to depend on how strong that wedge builds in. And I will say, with some rain, that can reinforce the wedge. Why is the wedge important? That keeps our instability or fuel for thunderstorms low. So that could really inhibit our severe threat on Sunday. Something we're going to be watching, a really tricky forecast, but one that will come into at least a little more fruition over the next 24 to 48 hours. But either way, Sunday morning, cold front comes in. That's going to bring heavy rain, maybe some thunderstorms, maybe an isolated severe storm as well. We are looking at maybe about half an inch to an inch of rain with this, so we're not necessarily worried about flash flooding. However, I do want to note the ground is already saturated, so you add another inch of rain on top of this in some spots, and gusty wind from a front, because wind will definitely be the most widespread threat along that front that could take down trees going into Sunday morning. So I think that's going to be one of our bigger concerns on Sunday. So again, picked up a daily record for rainfall in Atlanta yesterday, beat an over 100-year record. I feel like we've been doing that a lot lately, guys. And some of our rivers still very well in minor flood stage. That is going to impact a lot of your homes near the river. I know you usually probably pick that real estate because it's beautiful, but on cases like this, not quite as fun. Those will go below flood stage, though, most of them by tomorrow afternoon. So it'll be a very brief nuisance for you. And then we'll look ahead to more rain this weekend. And we won't necessarily worry about flooding, but more so the already saturated ground and that wind that could come along with that cold front that could take down trees on Sunday. So I appreciate you spending some time and catching up with me after our very busy weather the last couple of days. More on the way this weekend, and we'll have a full update for you on Atlanta News First at noon. So if you want to tune in there, we'll give you every single detail you need to know on your 7-day forecast. Make it a great Thursday.